Listen to Mr. Trump, Mr. President. Help us out. It's been almost 6 months and you still ain't bringing gas prices down, Trump. Why? Why ain't you drilling? Drill, baby, drill. You know, it's $3 a gallon. Yeah, gas is $3 a gallon. Yes. Mr. Trump, I thought you was going to try to help us out. But promises you made, promises you're not keeping. Yes, Trump, please, hear our cry. I've supported you 3 times. I voted 3 times in 3, 6, 9 years, Trump. Please, Mr. Trump, help us out. We need it. We cannot afford to pay $3. Gas is higher now than it was when Joe Biden was in office, Mr. President. Come on, get it together. Help us out. Yes, we need help. Joe Biden should have ran again.
Why do rural MAGAs keep voting against their own best interest? You saw the person in the video. He's asking Trump, what's happening to Drew, baby Drew? Why is the price of gas going up? Come on, MAGA, you should have known better than that. Trump doesn't really care about you. He doesn't care about rural MAGA. He says he does, but that's only to get your vote. Remember, Trump, he has said, I love the poorly educated. He doesn't care about you. And MAGA, you keep voting against your own best interest. Do you know whose interest you're voting for? The billionaire class, the billionaires. That's whose interest you're voting for. The Republican Party, GOP policies. You only help the billionaires, the corporations, and the top 0.1%. And you're not in that club because it's a big club and you ain't in it, MAGA. Guys, if you enjoyed this type of video, please like, subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification bell. We're still a small channel that's growing, and all your help is very much appreciated, and you're my hero. Thank you so much.
In rural America overwhelmingly voted for Trump. In fact, they overwhelmingly vote Republican against their own best interests. In my other videos, you've seen me talk about the reasons why. But a new condition placed by Trump on the Broadband fund of $40 billion to help give access to rural America for broadband has hit a snag by a new condition that he's placed on internet providers. And that is that they cannot charge less to people who qualify for low income. They have to charge the same price that they charge everybody. What does that do? Well, we've talked about this in my other videos, and what that does is makes it harder for rural America to get access to information, to find out that the Republicans are lying to them. It guts our education. And after all, that's all the Republicans have ever wanted. Live in rural America.
The rural communities in red states have been devastated by Trump's MAGA policies. These rural MAGAs are suffering the most from Trump's economic policies, because you know whose policies they were held by? Biden. Biden wanted to help rural America, not Trump. Thanks to Trump and the GOP, they're cutting education, they're underfunding schools, they're underfunding hospitals, they're underfunding teachers, and this is all hurting you. And you're gonna have more MAGAs whose benefits are being cut. You know who's the larger recipient of SNAP benefits? Do you know who? That's right, poor rural MAGAs. That they the ones who use food stamps the most, SNAP benefits. And you know why they do it? Because they think they're at the top of the hierarchy. Like they think they're here and they want everyone else, minorities, African Americans, Latino Americans, LGBTQ, they want them to be like right here at the bottom. Meanwhile, the poor white MAGAs, they think they're at the top. But do you know who's actually at the top? That's right, the billionaire class. The billionaires class are right here. But the MAGAs, as long as they think they're special, they're willing to not get any help. They're willing to suffer. So that, and they're, you know why they're willing to do that? Because they don't want all the other groups that I just listed, like minorities, like the LGBTQ community. They don't want to see those groups being lifted up. They don't want to see those groups helped, because you know what that will mean? That will mean that MAGA would no longer feel special. they wouldn't feel like they're at the top. If everyone is getting help, they do not feel special. They feel like their whiteness, their MAGA, is being taken away from them. So they would rather strip everyone else of all the help the government is giving them. So that way they feel like their whiteness gives them some special privilege. But that's not what the real world works like. Because now when these rural communities are getting poorer, now let's talk about red states and blue states, guys. Red states pay in less than they get. So that means in the federal government, red states are paying very little and they're getting a lot of money from the federal government. Meanwhile, blue states such as New York, California, they're paying the most. They're paying the most to the federal government and they're being given very little. Do you know what will happen? If blue states stopped subsidizing red states quality of life and living standard will go even lower. So you say, hey, red states, you can thank blue states for what you have right now. And guess what? Crime. MAGA always talks about crime in blue cities, in blue states. Crime is actually higher in red states and red cities. If you look at the crime rates, the first states, like 20 states, like majority of them are red states. There's only like one or two which are blue, but majority of red. And then if you look at the bottom half, I have the least crime. They're all blue states, most of them. So it's like the crime is actually higher in red states than it's in blue states. Now, if you look at education, quality of life, standard of living, wages, the first half, it's all blue states. Meanwhile, the second half, it's all red states. In like half the red states, their minimum wage is the same as the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour. That's their state minimum wage. Meanwhile, in states such as California, the minimum wage is getting closer to $20 an hour. So things aren't really moving. You have states like Mississippi where there's a brain drain. So that means there's a lot of people who are moving out of Mississippi, young people, professionals. Like, you know why? Which type of people are moving out of states? Like doctors, engineers, professors. They're all moving out of states such as Mississippi because they don't want to be living there. So all the brain is going to states such as California and New York. And MAGA, they do not care about this. They want to own the libs. They want to stick it to the libs. And at the same time, they're willing to have it feel the impact on them just so they can stick it to the libs, own the libs. This is what it's all about.
Sometimes things is 4 times what they was a year ago. A roast I used to get for $12, $15, $35. It's awful.
Everything, just keeps going up.
Well, I used to spend $40 a week. Now it's $140 or something like that. I just don't think it's going to go down for a long time. They're not concerned with people like us.
They said these tariffs that they've got on, it's going to bring prices down. They're not, because it's going to have to charge more to make up for them having to pay to bring it in. And I just say everything's going down.
See that woman talking about her father getting kicked out of the nursing home? Well, apparently the nursing homes are kicking out their Medicare patients. And she was like, why would they do that? And everyone in the comments was like, honey, this is what you voted for. This is Medicare cuts. This is the big, beautiful bill. And she was like, no, that's not it. Yes, it is. I work in skilled nursing. 90% of the residents that are in there, they are Medicare patients. These buildings stay open because of Medicare. They will close down. They will not care for your aging parents and grandparents for free. They will send them home to you. You will have to quit your job and stay home and take care of them. That means you're going to have to be the caregiver for your father, your husband, your kids. You're going to have to quit your job. You're going to do all this on half the income for your household. See that woman?
MAGA doesn't know how tariffs work. They think other countries are paying the tariffs. No, MAGA, you're paying the tariffs. And you know what's happening? Your farmers are going bankrupt. Guys, did you know that 1/3 of all small rural farmers are now going bankrupt? And they still don't get it. They still support Trump while Trump's tariffs are literally ruining their businesses. And now do you know what's going to happen? You're going to have big billionaire farmers who can eat the tariffs. They're going to buy up all these small farms when they go bankrupt. They're going to buy them on pennies on the dollar. And yeah, I mean, that was the plan all along. Trump, he wants to help his billionaire buddies. He wants to help them swallow up all the small businesses, make them go bankrupt. And MAGA farmers are the ones who are being hurt the most from this. You have Medicare, thanks to cuts in Medicare, hospitals, rural hospitals are closing down. Now, like these rural communities, they have to drive like 2 hours to the nearest hospital. Their roads are bad. They have to drive like an hour to the nearest store, to the nearest grocery store. And MAGA, they voted for this. And you know what? They keep falling for the culture war nonsense. They keep falling for drag queens and stuff. That's all they care about, drag queens and gender pronouns or whatever. Have you noticed how they always bring the pronoun thing into everything? They're like, oh, my pronouns, or like, or it's something very offensive that's not even funny. And to them, that's more important than putting food on the table. And to them, they just want to stick it to the lips, and they keep voting for the best interest of billionaires. So I mean, I don't know. So guys, I have a question for you. What would it take for MAGA to stop voting against its own best interests? Would they ever do it? Please let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching my video. Guys, if you like this type of content, if you like my video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that notification bell. We're a small channel that's still growing, and every interaction matters. And if you watched You're My Hero, I respect you all very much.